I've been sitting on this story for 3 days now. I didn't really know if I wanted to talk about it. Those of you that have been with me for a while here on the channel, you guys know how I feel about Zion Williamson. And everything that's happened this week, all it did was strengthen my position. I know some of you guys don't follow the NBA that closely, so I give you a little bit of a backstory of what has been going on in New Orleans. Before the All-Star break, or before the trade deadline, I should say, David Griffin, general manager of the Pelicans, traded for CJ McCollum, guard for the Blazers. It was a rare instance of good decision making in New Orleans. Normally, David Griffin is making decisions that actually hinder the franchise. Like letting Lonzo Ball walk. That was just brilliant. In a guard-driven league with your superstar player wanting you to bring Lonzo Ball back. But in a guard-driven league, you allow someone, I believe, that could be a top 5 guard in the NBA, you allow him to just walk for essentially nothing. Since David Griffin arrived in New Orleans, it has been one disaster after another. I could sit here for an hour and bitch and complain about how David Griffin has completely fucked this franchise. But this Zion Williamson situation, I cannot put the blame on David Griffin, at least not all of it. Now, he's done some things with Zion that I haven't agreed with, but this predicament this week with Zion is all on Zion. This kid is unprofessional. He's immature. He's not dedicated. He is making nearly $11 million this season to do nothing. He's supposedly rehabbing. But this fat fuck, he has been rehabbing since he came into the NBA. Zion Williamson is potentially on his way to becoming the biggest draft bust in NBA history. Yeah, bigger than Kwame Brown. There was a lot of hype surrounding Kwame Brown when he was coming out of high school into the NBA, but a lot of that had to do with him being paired with Michael Jordan in DC. Kwame Brown, coming into the league, he was expected to contribute. He was expected to be a double-double type player. The expectations were different with Zion Williamson coming out of Duke. He was already a superstar before entering the NBA. He was already a millionaire before being drafted. Zion Williamson was not expected to just be a contributor. He wasn't expected to just be a dominant player. Zion Williamson was expected to be the next face of the NBA. He was the guy that would take the torch from LeBron James. Everyone knew it. The Pelicans knew it. Adam Silver knew it. Hell, LeBron James knew it. I remember when the Lakers played the Pelicans in New Orleans in Zion's rookie season. This was right before Adam Silver shut down the league because of the COVID. I remember after the game, LeBron James seeked out Zion Williamson. He embraced him after the game. It was one of those moments where LeBron James, he wasn't ready to pass the torch just yet, but he knew this was the guy that can take the league when I'm finished with it. There was one small problem. Zion Williamson thought that he was already the guy. Hell, who can blame him? He was the most hyped player to come into the NBA since LeBron James. He had already arrived before he played one game. Zion Williamson was not willing to put in the work then, and he's not willing to put in the work now. Anyway, the Pelicans acquire CJ McCollum. During All-Star Weekend, McCollum joins the Inside the NBA crew. He was traded to New Orleans on February 8th. This clip that I'm about to play for you is from February the 19th. See if you notice anything alarming in what CJ McCollum says.
Again, you got Brandon Ingram, you have yourself. Zion, have you had a chance to talk to Zion about anything? Have you? I heard he was working out or somewhere else in another city. That's obviously the missing piece of what you guys are going to do.
He's a big part of our future. Obviously, we're looking forward to getting him back. I haven't had conversations with him directly. I've spoken to some people close to him and look forward to sitting down with him sooner or later. But
It's been damn near 2 weeks since CJ McCollum was traded, and he hasn't heard from Zion Williamson. He's been too busy to pick up the phone, send a simple text message, "Welcome to New Orleans, looking forward to playing with you." Not only is that extremely unprofessional, it shows a complete lack of character, lack of human decency. This goes beyond Zion being detached. This dude just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about New Orleans. He doesn't care about his teammates. Hell, I'm starting to question if Zion Williamson even cares about his NBA career. Imagine for a second that you're a lawyer. You're involved in a high-profile murder case, O.J. Simpson level. You have the lead attorney, then you are second in command. The lead attorney decides to bring in another heavy hitter to sit in the third chair. Now, what do? Do you reach out to him, welcome him to the team, express how you're looking forward to working with him? Or do you pretend that he just doesn't exist and have yourself introduced to him at the first court appearance? Throughout his career, JJ Redick was one of the most respected players in the NBA. Now, he was never the guy. He was never the face of the franchise. JJ Redick was a role player. But you want to know why he commanded respect? You want to know why JJ Redick was universally respected throughout the NBA? JJ Redick busted his ass to make sure he had longevity in the NBA. I remember his first couple of years in Orlando. He couldn't make the fucking rotation. He was terrible. He couldn't defend, couldn't dribble. All he could do was make open threes. That was it. He was a liability. The local media at the time in Orlando, they were talking about JJ Redick being a bust. This dude worked his ass off. He practiced hard. He eventually became a key contributor for the Magic. Throughout the rest of his career, he was one of the leaders in the locker room at every stop. JJ Redick is one of the few people in the media that I trust when it comes to the NBA. I respect his opinion. He played alongside Zion Williamson for 2 years in New Orleans. Now, he's actually defended Zion in the past. Like me, JJ Redick is no fan of David Griffin. But listen to what he had to say about how Zion Williamson has conducted himself lately. Roll the film.
Like, this just shows a complete lack of investment in your team, in the organization, in the city. I get that he's hurt and away from the team, but you just traded for one of the 50 best players in the league, a guy that's supposed to be paired with you. Reach out and say hello. This is a pattern of behavior with Zion that we are seeing again and again. And look, I was his teammate. I can describe him as a detached teammate. That is an accurate statement. This is basic level of humanity being a teammate. Send a text to a guy when he gets traded to your team. And the Pelicans yesterday sent out an email for season tickets for next year. Guess who wasn't in the email? Whose name was not in the email? Zion's.
As a professional athlete, as someone in a leadership role on a team, I don't know if there's anything worse that you can be called than a detached teammate. It's one thing to be called a detached teammate by someone like me or Stephen A. Smith, two people who have never stepped on an NBA court. Stephen A. is a rumor circulator, a professional bloviator. Him calling you a detached teammate, that's one thing. But when that term is thrown at you by a former teammate, it carries extra weight. Everything JJ Redick said about Zion Williamson is 100% right. CJ McCollum was interviewed after practice yesterday. Local media in New Orleans, they asked him about Zion. CJ McCollum implored everyone to leave Zion Williamson alone. We've spoken. It's all good. Let him rehab in peace. We are all ready to get him back. Speak for yourself, brother. I'm not ready to see Zion back in New Orleans. I think many in the community feel the same way. And the front office in New Orleans, they may share that same sentiment. I'll elaborate on that in just a second. I understand what CJ McCollum is trying to do. Unlike Zion, he's trying to be a good teammate. He's defending his co-star, trying to relieve some of the pressure on him. Get the story basically to go away, die down. But Zion Williamson does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. This is not a one-off. This isn't like a single mistake. This is a pattern of behavior. Zion Williamson has shown time after time after time he does not want to be in New Orleans. Hell, he showed that shit on draft night. Go back and look at his reaction when the Pelicans drafted him. The friction between Zion and the Pelicans front office, it's not all on Zion Williamson. David Griffin has played his part in this bullshit. But at some point, you gotta let bygones be bygones and be professional about it. Zion Williamson has not shown a willingness to do that, and I think the Pelicans front office is sick of it. JJ Redick mentioned that the season ticket brochure sent out in New Orleans, did not feature Zion Williamson. Now, this was not a marketing error. This was no mistake. Oops. How could we forget one of our top players, the face of the franchise? This was not a mistake. To me, it's a sign that the Pelicans are moving on from Zion Williamson. At least, I hope it's a sign that they're moving on. Get this kid the fuck out of here. This dude's immature. He's a cancer. He is a black cloud hanging over the franchise. Not to mention the fact that he stays hurt. One day it's his knee, then it's his foot, then his ass hurts from sitting so much. The Pelicans are paying him $11 million, or almost $11 million, to be completely useless. The problem is, if they do trade him, you're not going to get much in return. They're not going to get young stars and draft picks like they did when they traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers. I don't like the way AD handled leaving New Orleans, but looking back on it, I do have respect for Anthony Davis. At least he tried to make it work for 7 years. Yeah, he stayed hurt, nagging injuries, but at least AD gave effort. He was a good teammate. He just wasn't cut out to be the leader of a franchise. One of my many problems with Zion Williamson is his lack of effort. Anthony Davis is injury prone, fragile. Zion Williamson's health issues stem from his weight, which is 100% in his control. It's a sign of laziness. Like I said, get him the hell out of New Orleans. I hope that is going to happen. I hope that's the case. But with David Griffin bringing in CJ McCollum, they could be looking to drag this Zion Williamson situation through next season, trying one more time to work it out. But it's not going to work because Zion doesn't want to be in New Orleans. All right, a few things before we wrap up. One, the Rumble link to the channel is in the description below, along with the link to Patreon. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, head on over to Patreon and sign up. Always optional, but I always appreciate it. Also, Veritone Media. Fuck you. I received an email from YouTube yesterday. Veritone Media. I've never even heard of them before. But they hit me with a manual copyright strike on my Juwan Howard video that I think I posted it on Monday. Now, what that means, they are taking all my money from that video. Now, this happens from time to time, but it usually happens before I publish the video. YouTube will allow me to appeal whichever media company files the claim. They review it, the company does, and they always approve it. It's always under fair use. I've worked with Fox, CBS, the NFL, the IOC. Never have I had a problem, never been rejected. I have had one hiccup before. It was with the IOC, but after going back and forth with them for a while, they worked with me. They released my video, let me make money on it. Not Veritone Media. They reject my appeal yesterday, claiming that I stole their content, which was a 45-second clip and a 14 or 15-minute video of Juwan Howard acting a fool last season in the Big Ten tournament. This is complete bullshit. I thought about disputing this, taking it a step further, but it's just not worth it. I don't want to risk having a copyright strike on my channel if I lose the appeal. I mean, so far, my channel has a clean record. For almost 3 years now, we have a clean record. So it's just not worth it. So Veritone Media, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. You watch my video, get 7,000 views, put money in my pocket, and then you decide you want to hit me with a copyright strike and steal that money that I worked for. I hope you get what you deserve. All right, let me know what you guys think. Should the Pelicans trade Zion Williamson, or should they try next season to work it out? See if he can work well with CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram. See if the Pelicans, can make the playoffs for once. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.